Hey, good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. A bit of a grey day, heat wave is over, so oh well, it was nice while it lasted. Still quite warm though, and it's dry. Hammered it down this morning, but everything is well. Right, back from the school run. Decided to do a video. Now this was inspired by a few nights ago. I was sort of perusing YouTube and looking at some of my my favourite reviewers, and I'm a big fan of Pep over at the Sentinel. So what I did was I watched one of his videos, and he did a feature on fragrances that never let him down. And I think he listed 11 fragrances or whatever, and it really resonated with me. I really enjoyed the video. But more than that, I can't stop thinking about the point of the video: fragrances that never let you down. And it really did resonate with me. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and looking at my collection and looking at my perfumes and thinking, right, which fragrances have I got that have never let me down? Now, when I say never let you down, there's a couple of ways that a fragrance can let you down. And obviously it normally applies to sort of newer fragrances or fragrances that you're testing that don't work for you for whatever. So you can discount them because, they're always going to let you down if they don't work for you. The other way fragrances can let you down is if you're wearing them in the wrong weather. Once you've had a fragrance for a while, and all these fragrances that we're going to talk about today are fragrances I've had for a long time. So once you've had them for a long time, you know how they perform in certain environments. You know if it's going to be too hot for this one, or it's too cold for this one, or it's going to be too humid for this one. So I'm not talking about fragrances that let you down in weather, because that's not the fragrance's fault. That's more your fault for wearing it in the wrong time. And I'm not talking about fragrances either that will let you down for social reasons, or you put a really loud fragrance on and you've gone to an intimate sort of a social occasion or something like that. That's always going to let you down. And again, the fault there is not with the perfume, it's with you for effectively picking the wrong perfume. I'm just thinking this is more about perfumes that sometimes you pick a perfume to wear that you normally like, and you spray it, and it just doesn't hit the spot for you on that particular wearing for a number of reasons. I think a lot of them are kind of emotional. If you, for example, wear a fragrance that you really like, you go to a party, or you go out with your mates, or you go out with your family, and you have a wonderful day, you're always going to associate that happy or wonderful memory with that fragrance. And sometimes I think if you wear that fragrance again and the situation isn't as much fun, or you didn't enjoy where you were or what you were doing as much as you did, you might not feel the fragrance as much because you have this emotional attachment to the fragrance. I mean, we know that fragrances are a massive key to unlocking memories. We know that fragrances are a conduit to great emotions and things like that. So what I'm doing with this list is I'm just picking fragrances that every time I've worn them, I've enjoyed the experience thoroughly. I've loved smelling the perfume, and it's just, it's done its job. And I believe, and I'm a very strong believer, that we wear perfume just to enhance our mood. And then as a secondary byproduct of that, we, enhance the mood of other people around us. We feel better about ourselves. And then, the list rolls on. We feel better about ourselves, so we behave better, or, we're more enjoyable to be around, or we're more focused, or whatever you want that perfume to deliver to you. I think for me, it's our own emotional response to the perfume that we're wearing. The perfume that we choose, or the perfume that we wear, actually enhances our mental state. It enhances our well-being, because we are we're at the top of our game. When you're wearing a perfume you love, you feel amazing, and if you feel amazing, generally speaking, you are amazing. So anyway, enough of the waffle. I'm going to get stuck into this list now. There's always an honourable mention. It's not a list as far as I'm concerned unless there's an honourable mention. So I think I've got 11 fragrances to cover and one honourable mention. So I'm not going to dilly-dally. This is going to be a long video, by the way, so I do apologise for that in advance. As I always say, grab yourself a cup of tea, stroke beer, stroke wine, depending on where you are and what time of day it is. So I hope you enjoy it. It's quite a self-indulgent video for me to make, but hopefully we're going to look at some interesting perfumes. There are obviously going to be some real recognisable frags in here, and you can probably guess before we start a good few of them. But hopefully, there's a few in here that I thoroughly enjoy and I absolutely love that I don't always talk about. So there's going to be a couple in here that could be of interest. I think there's a full review of all of them. So if you want to find out more information, have a look through the back catalogue, and there should be a review of all of them. Right, shall we style. By the way, no prizes for guessing which ones are going to be in here. And these are, because these are all such pertinent fragrances to my life, they are not in any particular order at all. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, first up, let's get the obvious one out of the way, and that is going to be, without a shadow of a doubt, Autoparisi's Bergamask. This is just, it has never once even looked like it was going to let me down. When I picked this up to spray in the morning, I will never tire of this fragrance. It's magical to me. You know, the performance is biblical. It's incredibly potent. It just, I'm like a kid, literally. I'm giggling when it makes me smile, makes me laugh. And I genuinely get excited when I wear it still. And I can't imagine not having it. It's just the most amazing fragrance to me. I love it. It's a room filler. I think I've got to be honest here. This is my most complimented fragrance. And, you know, compliments are all right, aren't they? We don't wear them. We don't wear a fragrance for compliments. But when you get them, they're really, really nice. And they do make you feel better about yourself. And, you know, I'm generally quite chatty. So, you know, getting a compliment does start a conversation, which is always a good thing. But Bergamask, I cannot fault this fragrance. I love it. It's not for everyone. It really isn't. Because of that sort of almost sweaty like musk in there, it can be quite off-putting for some people. And it does smell quite synthetic. But to me, it's just magical, magical stuff. I've worn it in extreme heat and it's just been absolutely brilliant. And I've worn it in cold days. And again, it's really, really nice too. On a mild autumnal day, it's fantastic. You know, on a crisp, bright spring morning, it's fantastic. Cannot say enough good things about it, and you expect me to say that. So we'll get the obvious ones out the way first. So that's my first obvious one, but this is a fragrance that has never let me down, and I don't think it ever will. Okay, another one that has never let me down that I talk about all the time. Let's get all the favourites out of the way. Is Pardon. Nasomatto Pardon. This is just fantastic. This is my date night fragrance. This is my posh night out fragrance. This is my cheer me up fragrance. I've worn this in just about every scenario you can imagine. I've even worn it to work and it has never failed. It's just a stunning, stunning frag and I absolutely adore it. It's just beautiful. That sort of slightly dirty, sophisticated vibe that Pardon gives off is, it's just amazing. I thought at one point this was the pinnacle of perfumery. I didn't think I would find anything else that I could love as much as Pardon, and I have. But I've never gone off this, and it smells absolutely, utterly intoxicating. It's beautiful stuff, and if you haven't tried Pardon, please, please do. And I know, you know, some people compare it a little bit to Guerlain's Lidge. This to me is 100 times better than Lidge, and that's no disrespect to it either, because I do think it's a very good perfume. But there's just a little bit of edginess in this sophisticated, you know, dark, sexy, smooth vibe that Pardon gives off. It's utterly, utterly brilliant. Just fabulous. And it's another one that my wife likes on me as well. So that always helps, honest. Right, next up. I forgot to do the honourable mention, so I'll do the honourable mention now. The honourable mention is going to be Thomas Kosmala's number 4, Après l'Amour. This is it for me. I mean, I've got quite a few fragrances that are similar, but this one just edges it. It's, you know, if you've not smelt this, it smells very similar to Maison Francis Coeur de Jean's Baccarat Rouge 540. It does the same kind of thing. It's that sort of sweet candy floss, sweet woods, but no latex glove with this one. A little bit of citrus to open it. Absolutely beast mode as well. And it's beautiful. And sometimes I want something really sweet to wear, and that's it, without a doubt. You know, Instant Crush by Mancera, which I have. I really enjoy that as well, and kind of it flits between which one I pick. But if I have to sort of today anyway, when I was going through these, I picked this one over Instant Crush. But I absolutely love this. But it's one because of it's so powerful and so big and so sweet and so enveloping. It's not one that I can wear all the time. So all of the others I can wear all the time. But, you know, true to the form of this video, Thomas Kosmala's Après l'Amour number 4 has never let me down. If you haven't tried this, please get a sample of it because it's beautiful. Bit of a pig to get hold of because I think in the UK it's still a Harrods exclusive, which kind of makes it a bit harder to get. Okay, next up, one I don't talk about too much, and that is Yatagan by Caron. I love this fragrance. I've had it a long, long time. It's always been around. I've sort of flirted with it since you know, I back in the day, basically. But there's something about this that just makes me feel awesome. It's quite an old school fragrance if you've not smelt it before. It's like a spicy forest surrounded by a desert. So it's not like Polo Green, which is all sort of green, earthy forest. This is kind of like a dusty, deserty forest, if that makes any sense. Like an oasis in the middle of a sandstorm. This is perfect for me. Very masculine, very old school as well, but it's just so pertinent for me, and I think it works so well in modern life. And I like that little, that little bit of an old school vibe coming into a modern day setting. I think it is a really good thing. And Yatagan is awesome. You should definitely try this if you've, you can get it everywhere. It comes up in groups. You can get it in I think discounters carry it as well because it's been around forever. But it's a classy fragrance, really strong performance as well. It lasts all day, and it's, despite the fact it's got all this kind of funky, spicy stuff going on, it actually has a very clean vibe about it as well. It does, as I said before, have an old school cologne vibe to it, but sometimes I really want that. And I've never ever worn this and not felt amazing. So this is definitely a perfume that has never let me down. Okay, next up, we're going to look at another sort of woodsy one, and that is Mousse Illuminee from Rogue Perfumery. This is absolutely awesome. It is a kind of a modern interpretation of Ralph Lauren's Polo Green or Halston Z14 or something like that. Massive performance. It's just this earthy, and it's got like a minty note in it, a little bit of a minty note, not too much, not like something else that's coming up, but it's just beautiful. It is, this green explosion that stays with you forever. The performance is absolutely staggering. I mean, I've had this is only a 30ml bottle. I've had it a very long time now, and I just cannot, when I reach for it, I wear it. I don't wear it a lot, but when I do, it's just, it's perfect. It's calming. It's quite a spiritual vibe that comes from this one. Love it. Again, it's one you're going to have to sample because some people really don't like it. And I mean, for the life of me, I can't work that one out because to me, it's absolutely perfect. But some people do not get on with it in the same way that I do. So it will need to be sampled. It's a bit difficult to get hold of in the UK. I think we can only get it through Etsy. But I got it through Etsy and it took about 10 days to come here. And when it came, it was amazing. And Manuel Cross, the guy behind it, he always chucks a few samples of other perfumes from Rogue in with it. So it's well worth exploring, well worth buying for sure. And if you do buy it and you don't like it, it's always going to go quickly. If you're in any Facebook groups, you'll be able to sell it, no problem at all. Okay, next up, we're going to look at Rasputin. Now, I've not had this as long as I've had the others, but this is something else that always makes me feel good. Rich loves it as well. I think he likes most of these, actually. But Rasputin, it's just such a strange fragrance. It really is rather unique. It has this sort of spicy citrus. There's lots of notes in this. There's oud in this. There's chocolate. There's patchouli. There's all kinds of things in there. But when you look at the note listing of Rasputin, it doesn't smell at all like the sum of its notes. It's quite unique in that respect as well. You can pick out certain things, but this sort of citrusy, spicy accord that opens, that just, it's incredibly enveloping. I always feel good when I'm wearing Rasputin. And what I like about it is it's worn all year round. It's good in the heat and it's good in the cold. It's just a lovely fragrance. If I worked in an office, I would probably wear this constantly. I wore it last week or this week or last week, and it was just, again, you feel so good when you wear it. I love spraying this on my skin. I love the way it envelops me. The performance is good. It stays with me for at least 8 hours, and I'm always aware of it. And it's another one that you kind of think, is it still there? And then you just get a nice waft of it come up and you think, oh yeah, that's lovely. It's really, really easy to wear. And also I think it's because of its slightly interesting one, it goes down well with other people. Everybody seems to like it on me. So that's, another way of enhancing your mood is, you know that you're smelling good and you know that people around you think you smell good or know that you smell good. That also enhances your mood. So this is another one that's never let me down. And I really, really enjoy this one. If you've not tried it, please get a sample. Sweetoff do sample packs. So, try that and give it a go, but highly recommended. Right, next up, an absolute classic. And this is Trumper's Cologne. For me, one of the best, if not the best sandalwood fragrances that I own. This is beautiful. Spicy citrus, and then sandalwood to die for. Now sandalwood is, as a material, is something that I find incredibly calming, incredibly soothing, so it's no surprise that this works for me all the time. I could wear this as another one that could easily be worn every day. It would be a perfect work scent. It's completely unisex. I think all of these are completely unisex, by the way. I think every perfume is completely unisex, in all honesty. But this is just delightful. It's a classic. It comes from the world of the gentleman's barber, you know, the shave, the wet shave, haircut, all that sort of malarkey, all rolled into this historical, beautiful perfume. And the other thing is, it always surprises some people, is it's a cologne. It's sold as a cologne and it's marketed as a cologne, but it behaves like an EDP. It's incredibly long lasting. It has a big, big presence about it. And it is utterly, utterly beautiful. So, so good, and really reasonable as well. I think these bottles are like 55 to 60 pounds, and considering this outperforms and outsmells so many more expensive niche fragrances out there, you've got to give this a go. It's beautiful. Absolutely love it. Right, next up, we're going to go for a real smart, dapper one. And this is one that Rich is also addicted to, and this is Vespero by Jeroboam. I absolutely adore this one. These little 30ml X-straight bottles are very potent and very, very beautiful. I love the aesthetics of the bottle is good. And the reason these little small bottles are like that is because they're designed for something called the urban nomad. So Jeroboam decided to make a small perfume that you can put in your bag and carry around with you all day. Not that you need to carry this around with you all day, because it's incredibly long lasting. It has really, really good volume to start off with as well. You know, it's just very strong sillage, very good projection. Beautiful stuff. Now, this does, and I have said this before, it does smell little bit like Voldemort from Creed. And it does certainly have an opening that is reminiscent of Voldemort, Creed's Voldemort, but as it develops, it becomes very much darker and it starts to get leathery. There's a little bit more smoke in there rather. And then it starts to go through this transformation from beginning, starting its life as something that's very similar, with bright citrus and the woods to Creed's Voldemort. It then travels a long journey and ends up more like Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. It doesn't smell exactly the same, don't get me wrong, but that's just to give you an idea of how the journey takes you. As you wear it, it's an incredibly long-lasting fragrance. It just gets darker and darker as the perfume involved. I can't speak today. As the perfume unfolds, so strong performer. Beautiful fragrance, has never let me down. Another one that I actually get really excited about wearing. I don't wear it too often, but when I do, it's amazing. So please give that a go if you get a chance. That's Vespero. Okay, next up, we're going to have a look at this one from Vespero. Now, Vespero aren't Vespero anymore. This has just come straight back into Xerjoff's collection. And this is Lailati. Now, there's a big review on this one down below, and it's sometimes known as Puro Afghano or Afghano Puro, I think. And the reason I love this so much is it smells very similar to my nose anyway, to Nasomatto's Black Afghano. But for this, it's like a polished, refined Afghano. It hasn't got the hashish note in it. It hasn't got sort of some of the more sort of dirty undertones as it. This is incredibly clean, incredibly long lasting, beautiful dark woods, stunning fragrance, really, really worth exploring. Never let me down, and I absolutely adore it. In fact, I was hunting this for a very long time till I found a bottle in a Facebook group that came up at the right price, because it is an expensive fragrance, but when you get it, it's absolutely worth it. It's a stunning frag, gets compliments like nothing on earth. Apart from all the others that get compliments like nothing on earth. I'm aware I say that a lot, but this is really, really good. It smells great on me, and I'm sure it's going to smell great on you, but because it is an expensive fragrance, strongly recommend sampling it. Very long lasting and very, for a kind of like a darker fragrance, it's incredibly sophisticated. It's really, really classy actually. If you were suited and booted, this would smell amazing on you. Again, completely unisex, just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Please give it a try. Okay, down to the last three. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this one now. This is Amouage Beach Hut Man. Absolutely stupendously good fragrance. I adore this. Oh, mate. It is a little bit at times similar to Rogue's Mousse Illuminee, but I think this is just that little bit more refined. It has this beautiful minty note in the opening that mixes together with the orange blossom that drives the opening of this perfume. Again, it's just very, very sophisticated. I've never been quite understood why it's called Beach Hut Man, and I think, you know, the idea is that you smell the hut on a beach, blah blah blah. Full review of it where I'll go into it in a bit more detail, but this is absolutely fantastic. Works in all weathers. It's really, really good in the heat, and it's really, really good in the cold. It's very crisp, and even when it's hot, that crispness stays there. It doesn't miss a beat. The performance is absolutely absurd. This lasts and lasts and lasts. And because it is such a powerful fragrance, you've got to be a little bit cute with your spraying. So don't overspray this one because it is incredibly strong and it does belt out. But this has never let me down. This always gives me a sense of almost awe when I spray it. It smells that good. And it's just, this is one of the only, I mean, I've got quite a few fragrances with mint in, but this one nails it probably the best. It's just outrageously good. Another very expensive perfume, I'm afraid, but it does come up at discounters quite well, and it does seem to move around a fair bit in groups because it's such a refined. It's almost a barbershop. In fact, I think it's more like a barbershop than any other kind of school of fragrance or style of fragrance, should I say? So I think a lot of people are expecting something different from Amouage, and I think it can be quite divisive because it's nothing like any of the others. It's slightly similar, possibly, to Bracken Man, which also came out in the Midnight Flowers range, or Midnight Flowers collection, which I think this one comes from. But really, really good frag. I'd never be without it, and it lasts. And as it lasts, it takes you on a real journey, and it's such an enjoyable journey to go on. I've worn this in every environment you can think of, in every social occasion you can think of, and, you know, at work, whatever. Always enjoyed every second of it. So definitely this one has never let me down. Beautiful frag. Okay, now the final two. So the next one is another Autoparisi, and this is Seminalis. This is absolutely beautiful. I think I probably gravitate to Bergamask probably a little bit more than Seminalis, but Seminalis is fantastic. Again, like Trumpers, this has an absolutely divine sandalwood note in it. This is a sophisticated fragrance. It's beautiful. It's very creamy. It has like an almond and condensed milk vibe to it with some sharp patchouli. There's something a little bit maybe like cacao or possibly some oud in the background that stop it from becoming cloying. It has a slightly, sometimes it can come across like a little bit of a sweaty vibe, which Alessandro Gualtieri's musks quite often carry. So it's quite a sexy fragrance, excuse me, but it's beautiful. And it's just, for me, incredibly calming. You know, some people think of this as quite a racy fragrance, a bit sexy, and it is. But because of the sandalwood in it, and because the creamy nature of the sandalwood, it's soothing to me more than anything. And I absolutely adore wearing this in all occasions. I've worn it, you know, like a lot of these, I've worn them to death, and I've worn them in every kind of environment. And this never fails. It may not be the best one to wear on a hot day, and I have worn it on a hot day. I'm a bit weird like that. I like sandalwood fragrances on a hot day, and it's been fine for me, but I really, really enjoy it. Typical Gualtieri, don't get it on clothing because you will have shirts or t-shirts that only smell of this. So please don't get it on clothing, but please sample it. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, and my final one, the number one, is this, and this will come as no surprise because I've been talking about it fairly recently, and I talk about it quite a lot. And that's Iron Duke from BeauFort London. I adore this fragrance in a way that I don't adore many fragrances, and that's because, you know, I've mentioned it in my video and I've spoken about it a few times. This fragrance reminds me so much of my father, who sometimes I miss terribly. So sometimes, you know, when you're feeling a bit low or you're feeling a bit, I'll spray this because it just cheers me up and it reinforces my mood, and it just helps me push on and push through. And I just think this is a work of art as well. It's a very potent, it's a very big fragrance. There's lots of very strong notes in this. Some of the materials used in this are quite crazy. There's gunpowder and things like that in it, but it's such a banger, and it soothes me, it calms me down. It just, you know, the smell of it washes away fear or anxiety or anything like that. And this has certainly never come close to letting me down. I don't think it could. I will always have a bottle of it as well because it's an absolutely stunning fragrance. So that is my favourite of all of these, I think, for never letting me down. I love them all for various other reasons, and I know I said that this isn't going to be in any particular order, but I think, you know, this is a very special fragrance to me. So there you go. They're my takes on fragrances that never let you down. So what I'm going to do now is, because it's such an interesting subject to me, and I know this has been a very self-indulgent video, so I do apologise for that. I hope you've enjoyed the choices I've made, and I hope you've you know, found something quite interesting. But I'm going to put this out for a tag now, so I'm going to tag a few people so they can have a chance to think about their collection in the same way and see what they come up with. So first off, I'm going to tag Kevin over at Mersey Scents, because he's got some really interesting fragrances, and I'm sure that he has, you know, this will be a question that he'll enjoy wrestling with. So the first tag will go to Kevin at Mersey Scents. The next one will go to Maya over at Fab Trends. Now, I love Maya. She's got such an amazing collection of perfumes, and I think it will really bamboozle her and really make her think about what she's doing and, you know, how she's gonna organise the video. So I'd really like to see the results there. So the next tag was for Maya over at Fab Trends. Please also, guys, have a look at these channels. They're all really, really good. And then Barry at Centralise, I'm gonna give Barry a tag because I love Barry's videos. He's got such a lovely voice, and I know that sort of Brummie accent's becoming very popular. I think Peaky Blinders has put Birmingham out there. But Rich, my partner in crime with Questioning Sense, he's a Birmingham lad as well, although he doesn't live there anymore. And when I listen to Barry speak, he does remind me quite a lot of Rich. He's got some great frags as well, so it'd be interesting to see his list. The next one is going to go out to John, Scented Snowdrops. Now, John is more of an Instagram reviewer. I don't think he does anything on YouTube, but he always talks about Dupe, or however you pronounce it. So I'm looking to see his list of 11 different dupes. He has also got a bit of a thing for Killian, so it'll be interesting to see how many of them, you know, his Killian fragrances make it into this list. So that'll be interesting. And then finally, I'm going to tag Scott over at the Centurion to see what his take on it is. Now, Scott's channel is excellent as well. He's really into his graphics and stuff like that. So I'd be really, really interested to see how he polishes the video up and see what he comes up with. So listen, guys, thank you very much for your time. Back with normal reviews. I'm going to stop being so self-indulgent and start making some normal reviews for you guys to enjoy. But listen, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll see you on the next video. Cheers and bye.